Mr Andrew and Mr Hennessy, and we've had apologies from Councillor Pennington and Councillor Marie.
Thank you. Item 2, declarations of interest. To receive any declaration of disclosable pecuniary interest from members in respect of business to be transacted on the agenda. Okay. Item 3, minutes of the planning committee. To approve the minutes of the planning committee held on Monday the 12th of August 2024 and to consider any matters arising from those minutes not covered elsewhere on this agenda. Attachment 1.
I wasn't there, so I'm going to abstain.
Okay. Well, there was a thing, was it? I wasn't sure about one of the second. I think it was Councillor Pennington.
No, I think it was, yes, so P0824-5, item D, moved by Councillor Franklin and seconded by Councillor ?
Sorry.
I looked again at the video just to check, and I was the one on the front foot.
You sure with it?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Ish.
I was going to
You have to pin it on something in case.
say. All right.
Maybe.
Yes, apologies, thank you.
Hot foot back from Belgium.
So sorry. Was everyone else? Is it?
You all happy with it?
that?
Yeah.
I was abstaining.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have a second of that? Yeah. All in favour?
Aye.
Yeah, mine abstention. Right. Item 4, public participation. Do we have anyone?
No.
Mr. Chairman, the notice is incorrect in terms of the notice to be provided. According to standing orders, it should be within 4 hours of the meeting taking place, not noon the day before
Oh, right,
the
okay.
meeting.
I can amend that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Christina.
Okay.
I did check.
Item 5, planning applications. Application plans and papers can be viewed by the Dover District Council website. A, planning application reference number 24/01351. Proposed reserve matters application pursuant to outline planning application 14/00058 for the erection of 112 dwellings. Location Car Park, the Innovation Way, Discovery Park, Stanley Street, CT 9FF. I think this is the one we discussed back in March. So I think it was the I think it was the other plan we wanted to discuss.
This came in again, so this is because actually on the meetings last week you had recognised that the 124/00471 had already been discussed.
That's right.
So I actually queried it with planning because I checked my files and they said yes, it had actually come back again, but because there was a slight amendment to the wording. However, your original recommendations stayed with that.
Yeah.
But that's why it came back up again.
So linked to this, we had the outstanding request to meet with DDC, didn't we?
Yes.
And we were going to talk about Discovery Park, but also other issues relevant to Sandwich. So that still is a requirement. I'm hoping you can get that set.
Yeah,
soon.
I apologise. So I thought this meeting that was arranged
So,
was in relation to that. So no,
so the
that's
meeting
fine.
that Councillor Franklin, Councillor Morehouse and myself went to was a design review.
Yeah.
The designers and architects are a replacement company, KSR, Architects and Interior Designers, and they basically went in front of a review panel to present their latest thinkings to enable a peer review by sorry, I forgot the name of the organisation, but they carried out a peer review and challenged them.
District Council, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They appointed them, didn't they?
Yeah, Dover District Council were in attendance as well. We were there as observers.
Yeah, well, you was. I did talk to the planning officer at the end of the meeting, and she says she's going to keep us in the loop, because I think that's just the first stage of that plan, because there is a lot of tweaks to be done on it. So we will be, hopefully, be allowed to speak at the next.
That won't stop you.
That's all.
Yeah, from what I can gather on this application, it's been here a few times. There appears to be a new document on the portal, which is the responses to the officer comments. So addressing the issues about access and cycle provision and so on and so on. I mean, I had a look at it this afternoon. I felt it was inadequate as a document. It's not addressing some of the key issues about, health provision, schools provision, access through the toll bridge, increasing all these kind of issues. So I remain unhappy about this application. I think, I was saying before the meeting, I think we need to have a process by which these long-standing planning permissions should be called in, if you like.
I think,
When the situation is no longer as it was when the original planning was granted.
I think we should ask the discovery part of the planning officers if we can have an overview of the whole site, which we had when we went there. Because at the moment it's just piecemeal, it's just part of it, isn't it? One of our objections was playing areas, wasn't it? But when we went down there, they just said to me like 3 football pitches there. Where they're taking, and also it looked like they're changing where the footpaths were going to be. So I think we need to be kept in the loop and allowed to speak about concerns.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I didn't like that, we did have that outlet, didn't we, with the right turn.
Exactly.
And I said to we don't want any traffic coming through Sam, we want all the traffic off the bypass and by that one roundabout.
Yeah.
And I think our primary concern, but not only, should be focused on Sandwich as a town. And I think that meeting, that review we went to, didn't give any confidence that there were a number of things said that didn't really reflect reality around proximity of the development to the town. They expected that everybody would walk in to take their children to school. Well, if that should happen, I'd be very surprised.
I was talking about like a little high street with some little retail units.
There were a cafe.
Oh, yes, thank you, Chairman. Also, the other thing we've got to be very, very strong about, because I noticed from all these new developments that have been put in for Sandwich, I mean, if it all comes into fruition, we're looking at about 915 new properties or units over the next 3 or 4 years, and I think the main thing that we should be doing, as well as having an oversight of the whole of Discovery Park, is in relation to the facilities and infrastructure that Sandwich has currently got, because what we're talking about, even this application, 112 houses, we've got very limited medical facilities in the town. The dentists, we're quite likely to lose the NHS dentists. We've got very small ability.
That's really the district county council, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think we've got to make sure that, before any of these go ahead, there's provision for these development. And in fact, I would like to see, as you see elsewhere, particularly up in Essex, where to put a development of this size in includes a doctor's, a pharmacy, and some shops there as well. So, but down here in Kent, we don't seem to get anything.
Now talking about shoppers and retail units.
Indeed, yeah.
And 2 things. One, schools. I don't know to what extent Sandwich schools could cope with an influx of new pupils. And the other thing, which has already been raised, is pedestrian access. It's so important because the alternative is for people to go to Westwood Cross. But given the amount of new housing that's been constructed near Westwood Cross, I think Westwood Cross is going to become one huge traffic jam for much of the day.
It will be.
And and also, of course, we want people living in these new units to shop in Sandwich. So pedestrian access across the river is very important.
Paramount. It's absolutely paramount.
Going back to schools, actually, they used to have a half-day Wednesday, didn't they? And I was driving along last Wednesday about 3:30, and I couldn't. There was hundreds of children going down to catch the train, catch the buses. So I think there's provision for schools, but it would have to be for some children rather than getting deal on Wednesday.
Yeah.
That's
We get
honest.
council wise.
Yeah, the key document on this is dated 31st of July, so it is a recent document. Revised planning amendments, and it includes some schematic design layouts, which I think were very bland and very poor. But the responses to the officer comments is just a list of really, again, very bland statements, really inadequate in my view, and not really addressing some of these concerns.
No.
We've had the toll bridge closed for the last week or so. And how are kids on this site meant to get to school, to the infant school or the junior school or any of the schools? So these issues are not being really addressed.
So to clarify, you want me to request a meeting specifically about this?
I think, yeah, the answer is yes, but I think we've also got other peripheral issues like decisions taken by the district council that are always not taking account of certain stipulations we expect for the town. Just understanding why that relationship doesn't seem to work.
Definitely,
So the panels,
yeah.
flat roofs,
Exactly. Yeah.
shops closing. Okay.
I agree with Councillor Tuker. I think in the first stage, we need that discussion with DDC officers about a number of issues which don't seem to be followed up on, but do that with DDC. Are we looking for a recommendation on this
That
application?
could be well, yes, that's why it's on here for me to, but if you are wanting to defer your decision until you have a meeting, or
I'm pretty happy to put forward a rejection of the planning application
Yes, I
myself.
think, yeah, I think that's reasonable because we haven't got all
We
the
haven't.
information.
Details.
No, not at all, not at all.
It's not, the planning application is approved, so all we're dealing
Yes.
with are the reserve matters. We can't reject
No.
No,
what's already been improved, but what we can do is say we're unhappy with the submission on the reserve matters, very unhappy, and we require further clarification and preferably a meeting where these matters can be discussed
With the officers as well.
with the officers. Yeah.
do we have someone to second?
Yeah, no. We're in favour. B, planning application, reference number 24/00650, proposal, removal existing ranges of front gable walls and replacement of line end at location 22 St Peter Street, Sound, CT 13 9PW.
Yeah, I'd like to recommend that this goes ahead. It's something that needs doing, and obviously, as with the other property nearby, these properties were patched up after the war, and they didn't use the correct materials. So it's very important that we get our heritage right.
Strongly support.
Do you want to have a second that?
I think Councillor.
No, people speak out for a while, do you? No.
Like support.
I think we're in favour, aren't we?
Yeah.
Okay. C, planning application reference number 24/00821, proposal dismantle and reconstruct GS chimney location 12 St Bartholomew's, it's the arms, has it? Sounds T.
Yep.
13/0BP. Looks quite a good plan, that, doesn't it?
Yeah. And sorry,
No, just, you're proposing it?
I'm proposing it, yes. It's reinstating what's there, so.
I'm happy to second that.
Councillor Alderman?
Strongly supported.
Strongly supported, I think we're strongly supported. D, planning application, reference number 24/00844, proposal change of use of land for the storage of logs and biomass fuel. Location, land adjacent Ramsgate Road, Discovery Park, Sound, CT 139FP. Nothing more else.
Recommend strongly reject on the basis that source of these logs is from the Baltic states of the former USSR, mainly Latvia and Estonia, and that we're potentially importing diseases and bugs into our own ecosystem.
Would you have a second that? They're already important.
I think
They're already in place, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
if you read the supporting letter, they're very evasive about where the logs are coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all they're saying is they're from coppiced
Yes.
traditional woodlands, which could be anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
That's not the issue here with this application. The application is about a new site, which is 0.7 of a hectare for storing these logs. I couldn't really understand from the plans exactly what areas they're talking about, because it looks like the area that's already full of logs.
Yeah.
But are they proposing that that existing area will be abandoned and a new area?
No, it's in addition.
Before that, open space.
They're talking about the big battery unit.
Yeah, I did go and visit that actually. A lot of this, if you look at the logs are old, it's storm damage, it's all stuff that's fell down. They're just clearing the forest and hopefully replanting it all. So it's all other stuff that's just get, but like I say, I think
It's all a scam.
yeah.
But from where?
So, we've got a proposal that we reject the proposal. Do you have a second that we reject the proposal to extend the log pile?
I would object, and I do feel it's wrong what is going on.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I can object to where they're stored, because the application is for storage,
Yeah.
not for the fact of what's going on.
Yeah.
We objected to storage in the leisure area on the Ash Road
Yeah.
because of what the area is. We've not objected on the grounds of what the logs are for. And I think we need to be consistent and say, yes, we've objected for where they're being stored before. Now there's a different place, which is in a commercial industrial area.
Yeah.
We'll be chopping and changing all the time.
Yeah, I agree with you in a way, because they're already there, aren't they? It's right by the plant.
Yeah,
I mean, before they've been up along the Thanet Way as well, and they've been all over the place.
yes, but
On agricultural land, at least it's all together.
yes, I think what they do, well, it's greenwash.
Yeah.
Yeah, in every sense.
Yeah.
But
Sorry, but I believe 2 or 3 of us were actually here when they came and made their presentation.
Yeah.
I was for one. So the company that put this plant in did come here, and I don't know if you were here, Mr. Chairman, but they actually put up a PowerPoint display and they showed where the logs were going to come from. I'm talking about probably 4 or 5 years ago. And they did say that they were going to come from North and West Kent and Sussex.
That 100-mile radius,
And
isn't it?
yeah, and that's where they said they were going to come from. But now there doesn't, I don't know if there's any
I think
conclusive
some actually
proof.
coming where they're widening the M3 at the moment, down in Hampshire.
Yeah.
So just getting in wood in a way, and it's been turned into fuel, isn't it? And it's powering that growing up, isn't it? That's where they're getting the heating from.
the grow up, sorry, brush it in here, advertised originally to say that it was non-carbon fuel. You know, it was totally renewable, and I wrote in and said, no, it's not. Wood is carbon. And they changed their promotion. They changed their advertising.
Wood is stored carbon, and if you burn wood, you release carbon.
Exactly.
That's greenwash.
I think it's a bit old for that, right? It's awful as it is, and worried about disease coming, because some of the trees already got disease, you know, by the roads.
But I'm not clear about this application though, because I read in the documents that this new battery storage facility was going there. Are they talking about making a much bigger area for storing logs, or transferring it from one part of the site to another?
For the battery
Why
storage.
do they need a much bigger area?
The battery storage is towards the old power station.
Yeah, the power station, the battery storage, that bring those cables through. Yeah, but, no, it's just, at the moment, it's just an open area where they're not building down, isn't it? If you go, you know, when you go along Ramsgate Road, sort of the bridge goes over,
Car park.
you've got 530, and you've got the big bit, and it's just a big open space, isn't it? Right next to the existing log pile.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, but what's going on here is there's a lot of very confused councillors about how to make a decision on this.
Yeah.
And I, for one, wouldn't be able to make a decision on what I know currently.
No.
So my proposal would be to defer this until we get further information on the exact site, how long it's going to be used for, and then the wood, where the wood's coming from, et cetera, et cetera. We need greater detail on this before we can make a decision.
I do feel that with some of these applications from these large corporate bodies, I won't make the allegation, but there does seem to almost be a feeling that they're trying to pull the wool over people's eyes about exactly what's being proposed.
You don't know whether it's for a 5-year or 10-year, you know, it might, because you're talking about a pharmaceutical company building there, wasn't there?
Exactly.
So it might only want like a 5-year licence. Yeah.
I do feel that the councillor, the mayor, has made a more pragmatic proposal than I have, so I'm willing to withdraw my objection to support the mayor's.
Councillor Carter.
Yes.
So I was just going to say, obviously, at the moment we can't see the wood from the trees.
Yeah.
But just to help the assistant town clerk can be very clear about the questions we want answering, so that we can get the right questions answered.
Indeed, I think we do. Yeah.
So you're proposing, councillor?
Yes, I'm proposing to defer it until we get some
information.
further answers from the company as to all the matters that have been raised tonight, all these questions and queries. And in fact, one of the perhaps highlight questions is the one that Councillor Morehouse has raised, is this wood coming from abroad, overseas, where it could introduce insects and diseases that are on the European continent, but we don't have here in the UK currently. And if that is the case, then we need to protect our woodland in this part of East Kent.
Yes.
So just to clarify, you obviously where this material is going to be stored, where is it coming from, and what are the safeguards in place for
Indeed.
such and also you said time scale, is in how long they're
That's-
storing it for?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And did you want a clarification of exactly where that's going to be, or you're happy?
Yeah, well,
Yes.
there's no clarity on the site exactly, it's very obscure.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so I propose.
Second.
All in favour?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Planning application E, reference number 24/00792, proposal reinstatement works and upgrades following vehicle impact damage. External works include replacement of ground floor, front door, window structure repairs, and reconstruction of masonry walls, replacement rendered part of front and side elevations. Internal works include new wall lines, incorporating insulation upgrades around our first floor level. Location 17th Strand Street. So,
Strongly support.
Yes, I would strongly support this application. It's an historic building in a crucial site. And so far as I know, no work has been done on it for months and months. In fact, ever since a car collided with the building. So I think it's very welcome news that work is due to start.
Oh, definitely. And it's essential, the most important thing about this, it's essential it's made weatherproof before the bad weather comes in. So we need this to be done as soon as
I
possible.
think they're working in there sort of making it safe, but I suppose it's sorting the money out, the insurance is sorted out.
Exactly.
So I'm happy to second that.
This is dealing with the structural integrity of the building, so.
Yeah, so you're proposing, councillor, next one, strongly support this one, all in favour?
Sorry, is that councillor Chief or councillor?
I
Moore?
seconded it.
That's fine.
We're all supporting it.
Okay. F, planning application reference number 24/00816, proposal, erection of single-storey rear extension, external alterations, location, Gatehouse Cottage, Sandown Road, Sound, CT39NT. Councillor Wallace?
No, I had a look at this. I'm happy to support it. It seems to be a good change to the building, providing a pitched roof instead of a flat roof.
Similar comments.
Sympathetic design.
Yeah.
Not seen from the
Can't see
street
it,
what's
can you?
being done,
No.
and the layout improves internally, so yeah. support it.
Yeah, I was going to say some comments. It's tucked away.
Yeah.
You can't see the alterations anyway.
Yeah.
And most importantly, they've got a very decent architects, Clagues, are the architects for this, so Clagues wouldn't put in a scheme that would be below par. So
So you're proposing it, councillor Wild?
I propose
Happy to
it's a
second.
strong support.
Yeah, strongly support this application, okay. G, planning application reference number 24/00876, proposal, removal of the existing glazed lean-to structure, replace kitchen window with French doors, create ensuite shower, first floor bedroom, location 14 Knightbridge Street, Sandgate, CT 39 EP. I think it looks quite nice.
yeah, I was going to say this property's just recently changed hands, as some of us may know, and obviously the new owners want to alter it to make it. I don't know if anybody's been in there, but there was a sort of at the back. There was a sort of like stepped part to the building. So it's two levels, split level, and they're proposing to, make it more able to go in and out, accessible, as it were. So I'm quite happy to propose this one.
But I second that. All in favour of this, Louis?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I, planning application reference number 24/00413, proposal, alter partitions to ground and first floor layout, replacing upgrade internal wall, floor and ceiling finish, window door openers replaced with enlarged open with timber support being replaced. Location 42 King Street, Sound, CT 39.
So, just to say, I think you may have skipped one.
Right.
They were both at 14 Knightbridge Street, but one was 7/6 and one was 7/5.
Oh, so one was a conservation one.
Conservation,
Yeah.
yeah.
So are you in?
Your favourite
Yeah,
conservation.
propose that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought you did that on purpose, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, I did. Just
Paying attention, just about.
Well, I've lost it now.
Oh, so
you're back
you're on
I.
41413.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you'd already introduced it. I was just going to say that previously the town council had supported this proposal.
Formal opposition.
It is, yeah, so.
Yeah, just so you're a bit more.
I think the proposed front door is an improvement on the existing front door.
Oh, you said that last time,
Did
councillor.
I?
Full skill, yeah.
Well, it shows I'm
That's consistent,
You
yeah.
propose
Indeed.
it?
Yeah, so I will propose this. It's a shame it's a loss of the shop, but I don't know if anybody went in there, but when it first went up for sale, I did go in there and look at it, and the interior was in a dreadful state.
Yeah.
So if somebody's prepared to spend £100,000 refurbishing it, then I think we should support them.
Yeah, I'll second. All in favour? Yeah. Good. J, planning application reference number 24/00750, proposal crown reduction of one beach, the subject of tree preservation, or number 11 of 2015, location Harbury House, Sandham Sandwich. I think this has been done before, isn't it? Because it was a bungalow, it turned into a house, and the trees in line.
But with all due respect, Mr. Chairman, I don't know if you've been out there, but it is a very, very large
Hickory tree.
tree.
It's like the corner, isn't it?
Yeah, so, and I mean, I'd rather that it was crown reduced than the tree came down, so
I think they did have a reduction before.
they did actually,
Just it keeps growing.
it's, the girth of the tree is massive, though.
Yeah, we want to favour this.
So we did have a proposal.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, I'm happy to propose crown reduction
Yeah.
if it's done in
It's
accordance
similar.
with the regulations.
okay, planning application reference number 24/0066, proposal, variation of condition 2, approved plan to allow amendment to planning permission, DOB/21/01811, application under section 73 for the erection of a detached bungalow, cycle shed, recycle store, associated parking and turning at locations 2 St John's Green Sound, CT 130 3E. Councillor Ron.
Yeah, I think this is the fourth time we've looked at this application.
Yeah.
It keeps coming back with changes, and there was a flat roof, then a pitch roof, now a flat roof. And the footprint is significantly larger. It's gone from a 2-bed to a 3-bed. So my feeling is that this applicant is playing fast and loose with the planning system. I would recommend strong objection to this. One of the neighbours' comments is that work has already started on the larger footprint, which they have no authority to do.
Actually up and down.
Yeah, and I think we should strongly object to this, and also request planning send in the planning enforcement team
To review.
to look at it. That's my
Stick or previous. Yeah. So,
Yes, I strongly object as well, but could we just change the reference number to 23 rather than 24? Just to make sure that those kids are right.
Because it's been going on for so
So
long.
long. Yeah.
So you propose that, Councillor Miles?
Yes.
Is there a seconder?
I'm not second.
Councillor, all in favour?
I'd like to abstain on this one.
Yeah, so that's just one.
Carol, planning application reference number 24/00900, proposal installation of 2 rapid electric vehicle charging stations and ancillary equipment. Location cooperative car park, Moatsole Sound, CT39AR. Location cooperative car park, Moatsole Sound. That's a good idea.
Yes, so we need more electric charging spaces, so this is a done, a no-brainer really,
Yeah.
so.
Support it as well.
I think we'll fully support this, don't we? Support this. Okay. Thank you. Item 6, withdrawn planning applications. Receive and note the withdrawal of planning applications. A, planning application reference number 24/00628, proposal variation of condition 15 floodlights at planning permission. 23/00365 for variation of condition 2, approved plans to vary sports pitch design at planning permission. 21/01314 section 73, construction of sports pitch, erection of 2-storey pavilion, new vehicle access, additional 29 car parking spaces, fencing, lighting, drainage and auxiliary work to allow changes to floodlight uses. Location, Roger Manwood School, Manwood Road, Sandwich, Kent. It will be withdrawn 28/24. B, planning application reference number 24/00554, proposal removal of paint to front elevation, repainting brief wall line wash, remove internal breeze block wall, repair timber frame and erect wall. Location, Sidsport House, 60 High Street, Sandwich, CT39, withdrawn 13/8.
Chairman.
Oh, Mr. Chairman, sorry, after you.
I don't quite understand this one, because lots of work has been going on there.
Exactly.
And the paint work has been stripped back and repainted. So unless there's another application or we're missing something,
For those of
Is that the old pub?
For those of you that were at the church on Sunday, when you walked down, this was the house that had yellowy paint that's been stripped off the wall, which so the works look like they are actually being undertaken. So it might be advisable to ask Stoke District Council what they mean by this being withdrawn.
In addition, there are about 20 rubble sacks outside that property.
Yeah,
It's weird how they looked halfway through, isn't it?
yeah.
There's no reasoning, just a letter that clearly states it's been withdrawn.
Yeah, well, we don't believe it has been withdrawn.
Okay.
Could DDC investigate that?
Item 7, planning decisions. Receive and note latest decision taken by Dover District Council on new planning applications. Hope you all read them, so I've got to read them out.
And I would welcome any progress on the Admiral Lane,
Yes.
which has been standing empty for
5.5 years.
thank you, 5.5 years.
Can I just confirm what you've actually just said, if you don't mind, Councillor Fortescue? I would like to ask for development that is in keeping with the historic nature of the building on that property, because originally some of the work that was undertaken was done without permission to take out some of the heritage items on the building internally. So I'll welcome the works, but as long as they're done, constituent to the heritage of the building.
Councillor Warren?
Yeah, it's great the work is going ahead, but one other issue with the Admiral Owen, it has many house martin nests
Yeah, it does. I looked at
in
the other
the
day.
eaves. I hope that they will be protected
Yeah.
as part of the work.
Much going to work with the owner about that, doesn't it? Looking at that last week, I think about 20, 30 birds or so. Yeah. Okay. You happy to know that? Okay. Item 8, street furniture applications. Please note, none to consider at the time of issuing the agenda. 9, licensing. Please note, none to consider at the time of issuing this agenda. 10, enforcement. Please note, none to consider at the time of issuing this agenda. 11, correspondence. To receive and consider correspondence relating to planning matters, including notification of appeals against refusal of planning application, North Falls offshore wind farm. I think that even though this is in,
I think this is just for information.
just for information.
Yeah.
Because you've got Clacton and that, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
I think it might be, possibly in future, they might be bringing into that cable when it comes to Richmond.
Ceiling project.
Yeah, I think so. It's just doing variations, which is interesting. Really, it made my printer run out of ink. So I think it's on the agenda. Okay. Okay. 12, verbal update from our Dover District Councils on matters relating to planning.
Yes, I'll refer back to item 7, planning decisions. The application on 12 Britannia Terrace was heard at the planning committee on Thursday, the 29th of August. This had been, I asked for it to be called in because of the vehicular access that was being proposed, because there had been a wall already demolished without planning permission and a wooden fence removed. I'm pleased to say that the planning application was approved, reinstating the wall and reinstating the fence.
Yeah, excellent.
Second one was referring to our old friend 57 New Street. And the latest I have on this is right. So later this month, the senior investigation officer is meeting with his manager to discuss the case and will provide us with an update. He apologised that he was off for much of August due to poor health. Lastly, referring to Montague Place development, we're chasing up the. I've heard reports about vehicles using the access on St Bart's Road,
Oh, yeah.
and this is mainly due to the fact that the trees that were planted there were not maintained. Had those trees been maintained, they'd be in a much healthier position. They would form a natural barrier to stop vehicles driving over that patch of road and getting access into St Bart's Road. I've chased that up again, and I'm waiting for an update. They haven't acknowledged receipt of the email.
I was just going to say, I did hear that the farmer tried to get his combine up there and he moved some posts. So we should reinstate them if it's
Yeah.
combine, shouldn't we?
Should do, yeah, should.
I couldn't get a whip to swing around in St Bart's Road.
And lastly, item that you were, no, sorry, not lastly, second to lastly, is the disputed land between the neighbourhood surrounding 28 St Bart's Road and number 9 Smockmill Way. That is still being investigated by Abbey Homes. And lastly is an item that you raised with me yourself, Mr. Chairman, referring to 27 Postmore Way and the wall. Now, the wall has been built, and I had a look at it, and I find it difficult to actually find that a contentious issue. Bearing in mind it's on a corner, to some degree, if that wall wasn't there and the guy put on there a box hedge, it would be at risk of vehicular damage, And I think the wall doesn't look incongruous. I don't think it's worth pursuing.
Well, I think it's because it was a covenant when they purchased the properties not to put any physical things there, it's supposed to have all been open planned.
Yes, but
I think that's a trick there, I guess, isn't it?
if you look at the street scene from the play area, there is another building there that's got not only it's got a low scale wall and a balustrade. So I don't think it's a big issue.
I think they're worried it's going to be higher than that, but the matching wall at the back, but.
And if it is a covenant issue, that isn't an issue for the planning committee to intervene.
It's a legal matter with the residents.
So I'm inclined not to pursue that any further.
Oh, Mr. Chairman, could we have some clarification from the DDC member about what I said earlier? Because I think this is a major issue that we really need to have a major meeting between the DDC and Sandwich Town Council. It's getting scary now because, there's, 303 houses at the back of Willow Bank and the industrial estate, the possible 500 houses on Discovery Park. There's this, we really need to, Sandwich Town Council really needs to take the lead because we haven't got a local development plan. We really need to take the lead on going forward with any of these new developments to have criteria and stipulations in place. In fact, the developers should be coming here to Sandwich Town Council and discussing with us what their plans are so that we can steer them to providing affordable and habitable houses that residents will want to live in. The problem is with a lot of these developers is they're putting up 3, 4, 5 bedroomed executive houses with 4 or 5 bathrooms, and these properties are sort of obviously prized by Airbnb or second homeowners and things like that. We need to talk to the developers, and if you look at Dover District Council's strategy for planning, they were saying that there was a distinct, desperate need for smaller housing. 1, 2, and possibly 3 bedroom houses, and that's what Dover District Council is asking for. But these developers that Dover District Council allowing in the door are building the total opposite. So, and as I said, the facilities and infrastructure of Sandwich are different to any other town. So in places like Deal and Dover and Whitfield, they've had extra doctor surgeries and dentists and schools and what have you put in place, but we haven't had that here. So we need to think about that, and even down to things like retail. I remember a DDC report from some time back, and it said that Sandwich was distinctly in lack of the right retail shops, and if you look at it, we are. We've got no butchers, bakers, what have you, for the sort of foods that we need. And so this is increasing residents to drive out of the Sandwich confines and go to Discovery Park or Whitfield to shop in the major supermarkets there, which is going against Dover District Council's green policy, which, like with us, they declared a climate, catastrophe. We should be, Dover District Council should be working towards their own policies as well as our own policies. And I don't see any of that happening. So I was hoping that our member could perhaps discuss with the leader and the head of planning so that we could have a meet up and discuss these really, really pertinent issues, because all of us here in this room, I for one, do not feel happy allowing future generations to live in substandard housing without the proper facilities.
I don't think it will be substandard. I do remember the developer from Willow Bank did come and talk to us. It must have been about 20 years ago, but he did say it'd be 2 stages. Stage 1 was Willow Bank, which is finished.
Yeah.
now.
I
And
remember
I
that.
went, we had a site meeting down there as well,
I remember
with the
that.
District Council, you know, the planning committee, I mean, a while ago now. And I think one of the reasons why, the thing between Willowbank and this Discovery Park is Willowbank, if you remember, had all that reinforced sheet piling put around to stop it flooding. So they've got ponds, so there's a big storm, high tide, the ponds are fill up, and as the tide goes down, it'll pump out. Whereas up at Discovery Park, it's slightly different because they're going to be higher. So it's got, so there's an increase in danger of flooding up in Discovery Park, but they're not doing the sheet piling, which is, well, yeah.
Yeah, so just a few seconds on the Discovery Park development, and the stage that they were looking at when we went to the meeting was about access, layout, landscape and quality of the urban design itself. So there may be subsequent stages that start looking outwards, but what was really absent was how that development will connect with Sandwich. There was also an absence of great understanding of Sandwich as a town. So, for example, they referred to the Roger Manwood School as the only secondary school. They also referred to the fact that they expected people would walk in from the development into town. But one of the key points that came out that it will be a mix. So it isn't executive. It is 2 to 4 bedroom properties. However, I got a sense, if I was being very, from a personal perspective, for me, it felt like it might become a dormitory for people working at Discovery Park rather than being a real new village.
Yeah.
And that was certainly muted in terms of actually, if they aren't able to sell the properties, it's possible they may end up being rentals to people working there. But what was one of the points that came out, it's potentially up to 1,000 residents if the whole development is done. So that's 1,000. We only have 5,000 in Sandwich now. It's a big impact, and that's just one of
Exactly. It's
a number of developments.
great concern.
That's all right, yeah.
That's the matter.
Yes, it's just, I think I'm echoing much that's been said. The target being 15-minute towns, where everything is within 15 minutes. Sandwich is one of the few towns that I know of with that in place, because we have all the facilities, apart from everybody who has to go across the toll bridge. Because it's not a pedestrian toll bridge.
No.
Realistically, you can't walk across. I know there are little pavements at the side, but it's dangerous. And I think we shouldn't even consider it as a pedestrian area. So everybody who lives the other side of the toll bridge, growing up to 1,000 properties, they are in a desert, a complete desert of facilities, as Councillor Carter has said, surgery, dentist, shops, what have you. And I think that's unacceptable, totally.
Yes.
Yeah, I can remember knocking on doors on that side, Strona Close, and the people there saying they feel isolated from Sandwich. But on the bigger picture, I've been asking for some time for a meeting with Dover planners, both enforcement and strategic, at director level. I think we should have an afternoon
That's what
where
I'm
all
asking for.
this committee plus all councillors can sit down and thrash out some of these issues. Because the bigger picture is that Dover planning is not particularly effective. Nationally, there's been a much big reduction in the number of strategic planning officers, and it shows all of planning now is reactive. It's just reacting to what developers put forward rather than steering them and deciding where growth should go.
There's no holistic approach.
No,
is there?
and you only have to look at Whitfield.
Yeah.
Dover has expanded into Whitfield, and it's as if someone has looked at a map and said, "Oh, look, Whitfield is nearby," without realising it's so far uphill that no one can walk or cycle up to it. And the bus that's been built has not been brought into commission. The bus track. So it just makes no sense, this greenfield development, when the towns are struggling and the brownfield sites are being left undeveloped.
Just to reflect on what Councillor Ross has said in terms of the reaction from the planning office, my own experience is that I write to the planning office, the building control, I get no response, and this has been going on for months, if not years. So I just carry on.
Yeah.
And that's a real example.
Yeah, going back to the presentation of Discovery Park, they suggested that it was a 20-minute walk from the new developments to the junior school in St Bart's Road, which is completely unrealistic.
Yes.
And they also suggested that they have pedestrian access. Well, it isn't pedestrian access, it's a shared cycle route, and I told them I fought against that many years ago, because I don't believe that young children and some bicycles are a particularly good mix.
That's just 106 money for footbridge.
Yeah.
There's big footbridge.
Oh, yeah, well, Mr Chairman, what was raised at Heritage and Townscapes, Councillor Ungerson, quite rightly, raised the issue of not only able-bodied people having trouble with coming over the toll bridge, but people with disabilities and not able to walk and what have you. And something needs to be done. I voted against any recommendation for Sandwich Town Council to undertake any bridge building, because I don't think the Town Council should be looking at that or trying to undertake it. But I would very much support a Dover District Council-led initiative that if all the developers, 915 houses that are all being built over there, if they could levy a toll or 106 money for a footbridge to go over the Stour, then that is what should be done. But it should be for Dover District Council to levy that charge, 106 money, or seal charges, saying all of you developers have to put in pro rata to the number of properties that are being built. And I would totally support that. And that's what we should be doing.
I did say to agents ago to Kent County Council, why can't they change the traffic light so you have a pedestrian button? So you push a pedestrian button, you have 5 minutes to walk over the bridge. But
They have given an answer to that.
No
No can do, no can do.
okay.
Tailbacks is what.
Okay.
Got to let the assistant town clerk get off now.
Yeah. Okay.
But could we note the request for a meeting?
Yes.
That's what I was asking for, yeah.
It's been on the agenda for a long time, nothing's happened.
Perhaps Councillor Morehouse can
Town clerk.
Yeah.
go to
Okay, thank you for your change, council. And the planning meeting is on, I think, the 14th, isn't it?
14th October.
Yeah, that's what I expected. We're still listening this morning.
Your point about children and bicycles. Electric bikes make it all the more important that there is a separation.
Yes. Can't be done.
I know a former colleague of mine is very badly interested in country.